Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County.
Pause for dramatic effect.
It's 4/22/22. Interesting date.
Is it? I mean, apart from the fact that Americans say it the wrong way round, I can't see anything interesting about it. But what do I know? I'm just an idiot with a big mouth. But I'd rather be an idiot with a big mouth than an idiot that thinks the earth is flat. So anyway, CC, you wanted to talk about the dome? So over to you, you old silver fox. And just before we jump over to CC, and to let you know, there is a bonus at the end of this video. Very exciting, I know. Something flat earthers will be running around like headless chickens, trying to come up with excuses why it's not a fair offer. Please subscribe.
Who built the dome? How do you get to the dome? What's the dome made of? What's beyond the dome? Is there anything beyond the dome? How high is the dome? Where does it start and where does it begin?
Oh, just get on with it, will you? We've done the dramatic pause and the cheeky little eye wipe. Just tell us what's on your mind. Oh, wait, just tell us what you think. No, that doesn't work either, does it? Both those activities require a working brain. Right, I haven't usually got a twitch. I need to compose myself, so let's have a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video sponsor is award-winning VPN Surfshark, and they've got my back when it comes to getting the most out of my streaming services. For example, the version of Netflix you see can be completely different to somebody on the other side of the world. But with Surfshark, you're able to quickly and easily change your virtual location and instantly have access to a ton more content. Now, obviously, everyone has their personal preferences. I'm often signed into either America or UK, so I can watch all the US TV I want without having to purchase a separate streaming account or move to America and order a glass of water instead of water. Bloody Americans. But there's definitely a location out there to suit everyone's taste, and the great thing about Surfshark is that they actually offer unlimited devices under one account, so if you share your Netflix with your family or friends, you haven't got to worry. You've got them covered too. And on top of all that fun stuff, of course, they've got you covered for the important things too, like ensuring your privacy and safety online by protecting all of your personal information and encrypting all the data that gets sent between your devices and the internet. And you can use my code CREAKY for 83% off plus 3 extra months free and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can try it all risk-free via the link on the screen and down below in the description. So it's a no-brainer. What are you waiting for? And thank you to Surfshark. And you, if you've already bought Surfshark using the link in the description. Now back to me in the studio, even though I'm already in my studio. You know what I mean. Could have at least warned me you were finishing, other creaky. Right, anyway, CC, you were saying something about where's the dome, how far is the whatever.
Well, to answer some of those questions, or at least you know what color the dome is. A light blue. And that's what the dome is, right there. Take a look at it. Enjoy it. You can only see it for a while because they're chemtrailing us again. Sun's about to go away from us. They like to chemtrail right around that time, and they like to do it in the morning when it's coming closer to us. But that's what they want. They don't want you to ask those questions.
Well, that was a lot. And surely these would be questions for you to answer, CC, not us. There is no dome, and you're asking 6 questions. Or was it 7? Doesn't matter. They're all stupid anyway. But allow me to point out that start and begin mean pretty much the same thing.
Because if you ask those questions, they have to come up with answers. So they try to keep you as dumb as possible, like a box of rocks, where your intelligent level is like a gerbil.
I bet they don't, because it would be very difficult even for they not to laugh in your face and tell you how sick they are of, well, how sick they are of you. You know, like your wife did. Never gets old, does it? And just to be clear, that blue thing above you is the sky. Even my 2-year-old granddaughter understands that. But thanks for pointing out the colour, but it isn't actually blue. It appears blue to our eyes due to a phenomenon called Rayleigh scattering, or Rayleigh, I'm never sure how to say that. I'm sure one of you will correct me though. And Rayleigh scattering causes gases and particles in the Earth's atmosphere to scatter sunlight in all directions. Blue light is scattered more than other colours because it travels at shorter, smaller waves. This is why we see a blue sky most of the time.
Because they don't want you to ask those questions. So go get your indoctrination, go get everything that you want, go get your MD, go get this, become even more indoctrinated. But the one thing is, once you become that indoctrinated, you will never ask a single question ever again, or question anything ever again. And that's what most of the population here in Westchester County is. Indoctrinated.
What the hell, Cece? Is this How to Win Friends in the Community by Chris from Westchester County? So what you're saying is that you and maybe one or two others are okay, but the rest of the population of Westchester County are stupid. How can one man be this dense? No, not me. CC. Everything we know about Earth, its shape, and where it sits in the universe is because we question everything. Science aims to build knowledge about the natural world, and this knowledge is open to question and revision as we come up with new ideas and discover new evidence. Because it's been tested, scientific knowledge is reliable, and standing next to a fence asking 6 questions about something that there is no evidence for just makes you sound stupid.
But when you wake up, you'll be asking these questions. Okay, God, the creator, has created everything around us. Okay, he's made it difficult, he or she, whoever it may be, has made it very difficult for us to find out about this stuff. But we can. It's been proven. Because we know they've already been down there, the military, everybody's been down there. They know what's going on.
Ew. God. And what the actual fudge are you talking about now? I thought that you thought there was a dome up there. Not sure what I was looking at then. So going down to where? And what have the military got to do with anything? The reason you and other flat earthers find it so difficult to prove anything you claim to believe is that, well, it's because none of it's true. It really is that simple. You can no more prove the earth is flat than I can prove I hold the Guinness World Record for longest hair.
They've been trying to figure out the dome for God knows how long now. You know, what is it made of? Can we penetrate it? Can we do this? Can we do that? I mean, there's stories of people that actually work down there that you call that sky ice. It could be, because sometimes some of the particles fall down off of the dome. I don't know. I'm not down there. I don't work down there, and I don't think I could ever get down there.
Where? And what particles? No one has ever found part of the dome, but just for giggles, let's say that they have. So a section of the dome fell down onto your flat earth, leaving a hole in it. Wouldn't that depressurize the world and end it? We'd all get sucked off. And not in the good way either. I mean literally sucked off into the vacuum of space. And seeing as that hasn't happened, I will also have to assume that there are people that fix the dome and it gets broken. Who are they? How do they do it? You see, the thing with really stupid claims, Chris, is you have to base it all on assumptions, and there will always be a smart ass with questions you can't answer.
Because first off, I don't have $15,000 to go piss away and go be chaperoned, okay? See, that's the problem, you know? That's why we'll never be able to get down there.
Well, this is really annoying, isn't it? No, not my video. Down where? Just tell us, Chris.
These are all questions that people will ask once the can of worms has been opened, which I think is going to be very soon. And don't think everything that's going on is because of coincidence. It's such bullshit. Come on, are you kidding me? Look at that, we got a president over here who's totally gone. You know, we got politicians who are just completely off their rockers. You know, I can't even get into what they're doing here in New York with the diaper. You know, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense.
Wanna know what else is absolutely ridiculous? You and everything you claim to believe. I have no clue what diapers have to do with anything, and I really can't be bothered to try and find out. But I will have to agree with you about it making no sense. But that being said, that could just as easily be applied to any of your videos. You claim to be a guy that knows stuff, but I've never seen you provide any sort of supporting evidence for anything you talk about. Everything you believe is based on your disbelief of everything that can be demonstrated to be true.
You know, and my question is, if the science that you've learned is bullshit, what was the point of ever learning it? You know, that's what you got to ask yourself. That's the question you got to ask yourself, you know? I mean, because everything would turn upside down once flat Earth is brought out. And people understand that we're stationary, that we're not moving, that wind is basically impossible on a planet. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous, you know?
See what I'm saying? That's the exact opposite of what is true. Wind is the movement of air, caused by the uneven heating of Earth by the sun, and the Earth's own rotation, which produces a force on all bodies moving relative to the Earth, and that's due to the Earth's spherical shape. The force, called the Coriolis effect, causes the direction of wind and ocean's currents to be deflected, but it's all because it's a globe.
And what about all these questions that us flat earthers have and that a single scientist can ask? Where is the bleeding part of space? In order to have gravity, doesn't it have to be contained, or an atmosphere, doesn't it have to be contained?
Sorry, I thought for a second then he was asking if gravity had to be contained, but luckily he wasn't, because that would have been really stupid. And when you consider who I'm looking at in today's video, that would be saying a lot. And the reason no scientist can or will answer your questions has two parts, well, maybe one part. I'm not sure. But the questions flat earthers ask are usually pretty stupid, and stupid questions deserve stupid answers. But let's just say a scientist did answer one of your flat earth questions. You would just disregard the answer and call BS on it anyway, so what would be the point? And that's not really how questions work. You not liking the answer to a question doesn't make that answer any less true.
And if you're trying to tell me that there's a planet up there and there's space up there that's trying to shear off all of the air off of a planet and there's no container, how is that possible? Because we all know anything under pressure has to be contained. And they can't answer any of those questions for us.
Because Earth's atmosphere isn't trying to escape? See what I was saying about not liking the answer to a question? Chris, you're asking it as if it's one of the greatest mysteries known to mankind. We already know, and we can demonstrate this sort of thing. Our atmosphere, and notice it's not called atmos flat, well, it's a pressure gradient, and it's held in place by gravity, which is why when we go to higher points on Earth, the air is thinner, and it gets colder. Now, you and many other flat Earth douche canoes say that the sun is local inside the dome. Is that fair to say? If that were to be true, wouldn't it get warmer as we went higher because we would be getting closer to the sun, not colder? If the sun was local, then pasty, bald guys like me would get fried alive if the extreme levels of radiation didn't kill us first.
How do these spacesuits work? Why don't they blow up like a fucking balloon when they're out in space? They can't answer that. Okay? What about when they unscrew the helmet and little specks of dirt get inside there and they screw it back up? It's impossible. It wouldn't be sealed anymore. You'd be dead. Okay? What about the sealant on the space shuttle that went to the moon? All that dirt and all that dust that was created, and once they opened that door and closed it and opened it and closed it, and little particles would get inside, of the weather stripping or whatever the fuck it is that they have. It's really tinfoil. Well, that's another thing I get into. And they close the door, and all of a sudden it's sealed again magically. Come on, guys.
The space shuttle didn't go to the moon, Chris. And as far as the dust and spacesuit thing, I've put a 54-page PDF document in the description which explains it in great detail. Because if you think I'm reading through 54 pages just to prove this ass clown wrong, ain't nobody got time for that. No, you're right. I haven't.
Wake the fuck up. It's so obvious now. It's been handed to you on a silver platter, and then people still can't figure it out. NASA, are you telling me that you believe anything NASA puts out just by 5 minutes of watching? Not even. I'll give you 2 minutes of watching any ISS interview at all whatsoever. Go ahead, go back to the interviews back from the 60s that are even worse.
Yeah, go back to the 60s and look at the interviews on the ISS. Just ignore the fact that construction didn't even begin until 1998. Just go back and watch those interviews from the 60s. Now remember right at the beginning of this video I said there's a bonus? Well, here it is. So there's a 747 pilot who has a channel here on YouTube called 74 Gear, a guy called Kelsey. Really nice guy. I've emailed back and forth with him a few times and he still won't agree to come on my channel. I've linked the video below and he's basically made an offer to flat earthers, and I'll let Kelsey explain.
Now apparently some people in the flat earth community are not a big fan of my channel. They've called me a fraud among other mean things, and you know I'm super sensitive, so it's time for flat earthers to put their money where their mouth is. In 2021 I made a very simple video offering how flat earthers could prove the earth was flat or not without doing crazy laser science experiments. And that was made for everyday people who aren't scientists or engineers, something that anybody can prove for themselves whether the earth is flat or not. Charter a plane, fly from Argentina down to Australia, and then they can see that we took off, turned south, and that would be it. Seems pretty simple and easy, right? The Flat Earth community is able to organize Flat Earth conferences, or whatever these are called. So I thought it'd be easy for them to coordinate their own flight. But I was wrong, and I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and it's alright, I organized it for you. This is the undoable flight to the Flat Earth community. It's Buenos Aires to Perth, Australia. Now I made this a straight line, but this is not a flight plan. So it took me a bit of legwork to find somebody who had the plane that had that type of range, the availability, the crews, because they're going to have to fly to Buenos Aires with a whole crew, land there empty, and then they're going to have that crew layover and then prepare for the flight back, which is going to be roughly 16 hours. We're going to take off from Buenos Aires, we're going to be flying south, and we're going to end up in Perth. The flight's going to be roughly 16 hours, which is not possible on your Flat Earth map. I created a Kickstarter campaign, and the thing that I like about Kickstarter is that it's all or nothing. Meaning if we don't raise enough funds, nobody has to pay anything, myself included. The other thing you need to realize is that people are pledging money when they do a Kickstarter campaign. That means there will be people who will say, oh, I'll give $5,000, thinking that it will never get funded. And in doing so, that $5,000, when it comes time to pay up, there will be people who say, I'm not going to pay. And that means just because the target got met, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's going to actually commit and pay the money. Unless we have the money, we're not going anywhere. Now, it also means that until we have the money, I can't secure the aircraft. What I'm planning on is October 20th. I picked October 20th because, well, I honestly was going to pick October 13th because it's International Skeptics Day or something like that, but I picked October 20th. That's going to make it more easy and more likely for me to be able to bid my schedule in order to have that time off to do this flight. So that is when I'm planning to organize this flight. Once all the money's been raised and the money's been paid, I'll go reserve the aircraft, they'll organize the crew and the plane and get all that stuff locked in, so that's when it's going to get firm. Luckily, you have a lot of people in the Flat Earth community, like this guy, with huge chunks of cash ready to donate for this flight to happen. I'm going to be honest, Flat Earth people, there's a lot of people who don't think you all will raise the money to do it. I'm hoping that you do, because I want to go on the flight, I want to make the documentary, I want to go to Perth. So I want to do all those things. I'm cheering that you guys are going to make it.
Well, that's pretty simple then, and Flat Earthers will finally be able to prove all of us stupid globies wrong. Or will they? Huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring yet another video. If you haven't tried it, it's risk-free. Give it a bash. Really helps me out, and it helps out companies that support small channels like mine. Thanks for watching. Love you, bye. Are you still here? I can't stay like this for much longer. Just go! See ya.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.